Hello YouTube and welcome to my tutorial on easy reaping, how to get to level 5 reapers fast. Now the first thing you're going to want to be sure of is that there's nobody on the map that's a reaper. They're going to see you instantly and you won't have a chance to do this. You're going to be sitting targets to those guys. Also make sure you sail yourself over to Sanctuary Outpost. The reason for that is simple. It's the smallest outpost. And you haven't got as far to go between the inn, where we plan to buy missions from Duke, and then dig them up after voting for them on your ship. Okay, when your crew's ready, make sure to put up a Reaper's flag. Most important. There we go, Reaper's Emissary flag raised. As soon as that flag is up, you will be seen by even the players who aren't Reapers. So just bear in mind you want to be quick from this point onwards. Basically, you go up to Duke, and you want to be looking in the second tab, and you want to be buying the Ashen Chest and Ashen Key Stash Voyages. These Voyages specifically were put there by the bilge rats for you to collect off outposts. The outpost you're parked at is the outpost you'll get to dig up the loot from. There's also ritual skulls for the Fort of the Damned, but we're not talking about this in this tutorial. Now, what you've got to do is you've got to put them down on your mission table and then get your crew to vote for them. If you are on your own doing this, this will take a considerable amount of time and be a high risk. I would suggest only doing it with Brigantine and Galleon full crews. I would like to take this opportunity while my crew buy their missions to remind everybody watching that I stream on Twitch and my username is Shark and Snail. The game I'm playing at the moment is Sea of Thieves, and anyone who doesn't understand or know anything about Sea of Thieves, I will be making some more tutorials in the upcoming weeks. But for now, this is for people who have got a bit of experience with the game, but want to be power leveling and doing the best they can with the Reapers faction. Unlike all the other Emissary factions, these guys will take any kind of loot in exchange for gold or doubloons. This mission that presents you with stashes of Ashen Chests and Ashen Keys, and the contents inside the Ashen Chests all helps you for the Reapers. Not only when you pick up the item, but also when you put it on your ship. So that's a very important thing to remember, is when you dig up the keys, don't just unlock the chest, take it to the ship first, put it on your ship, and then unlock the chest and move all the contents around. Another tip with that is that the keys are very small. They can hide easily within various areas of the ship, and you'll be pulling your hair out trying to find them later. So make sure you put them on something solid. This particular method is rinse repeat. We're going to be looking at basically keep buying the chest missions off Duke, keep buying the key missions off Duke, and although it costs you a fair few hundred doubloons, you tend to find that even though it's random loot inside, when you sell it to the Reapers, when you're max level rank 5 emissaries with the Reapers, you will get such a good reward that it will actually give you a profit. Not only does this actually help massively with the reputation gains you'll get with the Reapers, but also you'll get a profit. The way this works is because 3 people are buying the missions separately and spreading the cost of investment. Once you start getting practiced at this, you can turn this whole process over to rank 5 and sell it all within half an hour. And now for some music and fast frames.
Pick yourself up, dust off the
Okay, it's always a good idea to keep going back up the crow's nest and checking for enemy ships, either on the horizon and also checking on the maps to see if there are any Reapers, because there, of course, they're going to want to come and take the flag. This method of getting to rank 5 is by far the quickest and the easiest method to do it. It works with the Reapers and doesn't work with the other factions, but it's really, really, really good. It's a great way of making money early in the game. It's a great way of making doubloons early in the game. Of course, you need quite a lot of doubloons to buy the missions, but in comparison to going out there and finding Reapers items or going specifically looking for ships trying to get to rank 5, obviously it's a lot slower doing that. And when you are rank 5, you have the added advantage of seeing any emissaries that are on your server. Here we are again. We're just quickly going to fast forward mode just to get through the rest of the ranking. Okay, there we go, it's as simple as that. And my crew have been organising all our loot so that it's in order of priority, so that we know which chests to go to first when we come to sell them at Reaper's Hideaway, which is where we'll be heading now. And incidentally, Reaper's Hideaway is southeast from Sanctuary Outpost. Another reason to go to Sanctuary Outpost, not only is it the smallest outpost, but it's also really close to the Reaper's Hideaway. It's worth noting that I bought too many missions. If I was doing this really accurately, I suppose I might save myself a couple of hundred doubloons. We'll see how that turns out later, depending on what we sell. Obviously, the ritual skulls get you doubloons, and the tomes get you doubloons, but the other items get you gold. The chests themselves get you doubloons too. But the thing is that I've got a spare key downstairs in case we find an ashen chest later. And the other one's still in my mission wheel anyway, so I haven't really lost anything there. So realistically, it's actually a really decent way of getting a good return on what you invest. Okay, so as you can see, shadowy figures have appeared on the map. This symbolises ships that are currently using an emissary flag. We don't know what rank they are, but we're going to be headed in the direction of the nearest ones, and we're going to want to be taking their flags. Now, interestingly enough, don't go for the ships directly if they are parked at an outpost. They could be logging off. You want to be headed for the ones that are out at islands, mid-mission, maybe they've been doing a few missions. If you do happen to see one that's leaving an outpost, then they are a good one to go for, but don't go for them straight away because they can just turn around and go back and then lower the flag if they see you coming. They'd rather do that than let a Reaper take their flag. Of course, for that same reason, you're going to want to watch out for Reapers. So make sure there are no Reaper shadows on the map. They are symbolised by a shadowy ship and a Reaper's flag, much like the one we have. And now for some fast forward sailing. Okay, here we are at Reaper's Hideaway, and basically we want to be looking out to make sure that we can't see any ships or rowboats or mermaids. That's the biggest giveaway. If people are onto you and they start seeing that you're a rank 5 Reaper, they're going to come straight for you and they're going to wait here. The giveaway for that is a typical mermaid in the water, like it is whenever somebody's trying to hide on your ship or somebody's on the island you're going to. So they'll scuttle their ship or they'll sail it away, and then the mermaid that wants to take them back to their ship remains in the water. That's what you've got to watch out for here, because this is an area where you sell everything to the Reapers and they know that. So if you get a Reaper's chest out of the ocean, or you defeat another ship and then take their flag, then you're going to be coming back here, so those people might know that you're coming back here and sit and wait for you to take the flag and stop you from cashing it in. So just always look out for mermaids at this island. It's very, very common that people hang around here. They can wait for some periods of time, so always be really, really vigilant at looking to make sure there's no mermaids, no rowboats. The rowboats on the sand are okay because they'll have spawned in, but if they're like sitting in the water, then you're going to be wanting to expect to see an ambush. The thing about Reapers, once you hit to rank 5 with the Reaper's Emissary, anything you pick up will give you a considerable amount of reputation with the faction and gold, or doubloons. Now that goes even more so when it comes to the flags of enemy emissaries. If you go and collect emissary flags and they're rank 5, they will be top tier rewards. Obviously, if they've just started up and they're rank 1, they're not so good. So sometimes you might want to pick your hunting for the ship that's got the most ranks with their emissary. So in a nutshell, really, with any of the factions, you want to be getting to as high a rank as possible to get the max rewards. I've dropped the chest here so that I can check out to see if anybody was lying in waiting. They can sometimes leave gunpowder barrels behind that table and shoot them through a hole in the roof, which I'll show you in a minute. But basically they could also be tucking in any of the dark corners and using the hide emote to hide their name tag. And we're just going to make this quicker by fast forwarding. It's worth noting at this point that I actually made a profit of 29,684 gold, but I actually made a loss of 331 doubloons, and that's because of the element of random loot that you get within the Ashen chests. I mean, basically, the Ashen Tomes also unlock cosmetics and everything. So they not only give you the doubloons, but they give you the cosmetics, which is really cool. Everything else, random gold hoarder loot, obviously only gives you gold. Okay, up on top of here is another favourite place for people to hide. They tuck away up the top here, and they can shoot down there, like I said before. I mean, I've got a blunderbuss, and I think it doesn't quite all get through, but the pistols and sniper rifles, I believe, can get through to there, and they can just sit up here, wait for you to turn up, shoot their barrel, and then take your loot. So, all in all, we are now here, sold up, level 5 Reapers. We made it successfully, we didn't lose any of our investment, and now we can go on the hunt for emissary flags. Obviously, they could be any faction, they just need to have a flag. They could even be a Reapers one. The higher the rank, the better. So what we're going to do is we're going to set sail to one of the 4 that we spotted earlier on the map, and then the nearest one that isn't going to an outpost. And here we are, there is one here that looks like they're just leaving an outpost. We'll give them a little time to get away from it and get on their way, and then we will start putting on the chase. It just so happens that they're actually really close to us. We should have an easy advantage of catching up with these guys. And it just so happens there's another one not far away at all, which can be quite unusual. Sometimes when you get to rank 5 you realise there are no emissaries, and obviously then you're just going to have to go and find the Reaper's chests and various other high tier loot to get the benefit of the rank 5 Reapers. Sometimes people might log off because they see a level 5 Reaper and they know what that's going to happen. But this server has 4 emissaries. Sometimes what you might want to do before you start doing the climb to level 5 at the outpost, you might want to check the tables in the various factions' tents and buildings to see if there are any emissaries that you might want to hunt. Obviously that can take some time. The big issue is that you might go all night without any of your crew separately looking for a server and finding emissaries. There are other things you can sell like the chests and the bounties, so you don't really want to worry too much, especially because you actually do get quite a lot off the initial guide up to level 5. This ship has headed in the direction of the other ship, I think maybe to ask for help, but as it happens that means that we're just going to be closer to 2 emissaries now. So let's just catch them up. Okay, it looks like they've sailed directly towards that other sloop looking for help, so it looks like we might be able to get 2 flags out of this, which is convenient, some might say. Okay, what you want to do when you're attacking the ships is you always want to get up the side of them, if possible. You also want to get somebody on board to drop the anchor and then stop them from repairing. If they are defeated regularly, they might even scuttle the ship, and that obviously means you can take the flag off the back. The emissary flag is obviously the flag that sits at the back of the ship there. You can see it on that sloop, signified as well by the top flag. The length of the top flag increases depending on the rank of the ship, which is easy to see at a distance just how much a higher rank the left-hand ship is from the right-hand ship. I'm sword lunging over, misjudging how far away that ship is, so I tried to get to it thinking that they might have been slow moving, but they moved quite quickly. But this did give me an opportunity when realizing that I was actually equal distance from 3 ships, my ship, their ships, that I decided to just go straight for the level 3 Order of Souls emissary, and I've told my crew and they're coming back to deal with this ship here now. We'll chase those other guys down in a minute. Now obviously you want to keep yourself down under the water to avoid being seen, but you can see nameplates to a certain depth. You really just want to try and take an opportunistic moment. I can hear the cannon fire off their ship, so I know that they're probably firing towards mine, which is the opposite side to where I'm going to climb. That's a big tip. You time it in with a bit of noise as well, so you don't get noticed when you're climbing the ladder. The blunderbuss quickly dispatches people, and the sword as a backup. I don't like to use a double gun. Some people like to use 2 guns. This person's quite slippery, eating pineapples. And then, yep, so there we go. So the crew's down. My ship have returned so that they can start putting holes in this sloop. I'm setting the deck on fire, and that will create chaos. It just creates confusion. It'll also do small amounts of damage over time, but it's really just about the confusion and the constant damage to the players while they're on fire. These holes down here I'm going to guard and wait for those other 2 players on this ship to respawn. That emote that I just used there, the hide one, is making my nameplate invisible, and underwater you can imagine it's very hard to see me. So basically now I'm going to wait to see if they come back to repair these holes, take them out again so that their ship definitely sinks. Then we're going to go and get the loot off this ship. Okay, so their ship's down, and this person's obviously trying to bail it, but it's too late. And basically, we've noticed that the other sloop came back. Perhaps they felt guilty. And there you go, you can see a guy obviously telling his friend that they should have left because they probably saw the Reaper ship coming and knew what was going to happen. So the ship over there came back to take us on because they probably felt guilty for dropping us on top of those other people who were just minding their own business. But as I was in the water, I thought, okay, well that loot behind me will stay afloat for a little while. I'll head over to this ship and see what I can do here to see if I can aid in the process of claiming the original 5-star flag that we want. Again, I want to be approaching from quite low down. I don't think they'll be expecting me to be in the water because they'll think I'll be on the ship. These guys look like they've got livery to say that they've played a little bit longer than the other 2, so I expect a bit more of a fight. Quickly drop the anchor behind him. He got knocked off the ship. Okay, so that's one of them down, and then the other one's trying to climb back up the ladder, having a bit of an off the side of the ship fight. Hear him climbing the ladder and just catch his feet with a blunderbuss, just in time for my reinforcement. Okay, so that ram definitely put some holes in the bottom, and we are just going to play the waiting game again to try and stop them from repairing this. That's one of my crew there. Okay, so it looks like we've got this under control. And this ship doesn't seem to want to sink. The water line is touching the roof. And there we go. So at this point, we want to be going to collect the flag from the original ship. And this flag, and any of the loot is a spoil really. I don't mind getting the rest of the loot. Obviously it's all good for the Reapers, but the flags are the important part because they're worth a significant amount more than any of the loot that these 2 ships had. So I'm going to grab the flag, return to the ship. My other crewmate is grabbing the flag of the other ship and returning to our ship, and in the meantime my 3rd crewmate is picking up the extra loot that's lying in the water with the harpoon. It's always good when you're on a crewed ship to do this for each other, so that you can, like, just one of you stays on the harpoon and the other one collects the loot off the front, drops it quickly down, and it just makes the whole thing super fast to retrieve loot from the water. It's a very efficient thing that me and my crew have developed to do, and we tend to understand that if somebody's on the harpoon they're going to need this help, so you just, whoever it is. I know that some people might wish to play in certain ranks and orders, so I'm always the steering guy, I'm always the cannon guy, etc, etc. But as it happens in this game, you really tend to get used to just doing all tasks well. I think that's the only time you can really be a threat to anybody, is if your crew can all do everything well. Just picking up the last couple of items from the 2nd ship that came back. They didn't have anywhere near as much as the 1st ship, but they did have the better flag, which is worth an awful lot more than the level 3. It really goes up well when they're a level 5 and you're a level 5 who's selling. Okay, so we go quickly back to Reaper's hideout.
another's war. No prey, no pain, no choice, it's the only way we take to fill the longing, feel anymore.
Okay, having done a check for rowboats, ships and mermaids, obviously we wanted to look to see, make sure that neither of those two sloops were heading back as well. The whole time we were travelling here, I've picked up the best flag and we're going to make our way in. We're just sending ahead one of our crewmates just to check out for any dark corners, and then I will sell the flag. So you can see that's a considerable amount of money extra, the extra 15,000 give or take, just for being rank 5. The rep is considerable too. And I've just quickly cut to the point where we realised the other flag was on the ship and then we went and sold it. And there you go, you can see that a level 3 is considerably less, but still good. I don't know if this Megalodon is trying to help us from the border on the left ladder. Or whether it's just plain being daft. Either way, it helped me dispatch the border. And then carried on being crazy, so thank you, Megalodon. Never see another one like that. Okay, so what we did, we followed them until the point where they turned to fight, and then with this third chain shot here, took out their mast, and then just went for continual circling and shooting. These guys were considerably better players than the previous two sloops, and they gave us a good run around for a good period of time, which is why I've cut to it. But we are now closing in on their emissary flag. Okay, so basically, as you can see, my crewmate's going over there now to cause issues and stop the repair process so we can get this emissary flag and sell it. An important thing to remember, especially with seasoned players, is that they will swim at you. Because if they go on your ship, it's equally as devastating. Like I said, these guys were actually pretty good, so basically I'm just making sure that I stay on the ship while the other two crewmates cause havoc over on their ship. Obviously they respawn at their ship, so you kind of just need to make sure that you're catching them when they respawn. And I'm going to continue putting holes in. They're doing. See, you can see how good they are because they haven't yet sunk, even with our two players having a fight with them and their ship full of holes. So they obviously know what they're doing. Sometimes being a Reaper can be quite easy, sometimes it can be quite hard, and sometimes you just play and get beaten. So you just need to be aware that it's a sea of thieves and you can't really guarantee anything. Okay, so here's the moment where their ship actually sinks. And then I turn to head towards my crewmates, who discovered that there's actually 2 flags. So here we are, carrying them in to sell them. They had, they must have been harbouring, they must have been going out there, referring to what we call a stealth reaper. They're not running as a reaper emissary, they're just taking out people's emissary flags anyway, because no one sees them coming. And of course, at the end of it all, successfully lowering the flag, get a small amount of reward for that, and there we have it, is the completed how to be a reaper, how to get to rank 5 quickly, how to take on the ships, which ships to take on, what their flags are worth, and where to sell the flags. Thank you again for watching. If you want to see more of these videos, I'd love it if you could subscribe, that'd be great. Also, don't be afraid to check out my Twitch channel, which again is Shark and Snail, and I stream regularly on. Thank you.